Hi, I'm Peter Martin, and here is my Premiership predictions in Scotland. Number 1 all the way down to number 12, who's going to get relegated and who'll be in that playoff place. Well, no surprise, I'm going to pick Celtic to finish in first place. Despite a terrible transfer window, I still think they have the best coach in Brendan Rodgers. They also have the best players and the best squad to call on. So I think they'll have more than enough as they go through the winter months, even although they're in the Europa League, to finish in top spot. Now, this is going to be slightly controversial, I know, but there's turmoil at Rangers. Am I going to pick somebody other than Rangers? And the answer to that is emphatically yes. I'm going to go for the Jambos because Tony Bloom reckons it's 10 years. They'll eventually split the old firm and then win the title. Well, I'm going for Hearts to finish in second place above Rangers. Derek McInnes has got a good squad. The Jamestown analytics, will it work quickly in this year? Will they be able to get results against all the other clubs to force them closer to Rangers and beyond? I say yes. I might be wrong in that one. I'm willing to take it in the neck, but I'm going to go Hearts in second place. And I'm going to pick Rangers in third position, whether it's Russell Martin in charge by the time we get to January and then the run into the title. Who knows? He might be replaced by another manager and some more spending in the January transfer window. But Rangers haven't clicked. I don't see the style. I don't think they've got what it takes to win the title, but I certainly think they're going to be pushed by a number of clubs who'll fancy taking their scalp over the course of the season. So, what about finishing in fourth place? Well, I'm going to go for another Edinburgh side. This time, I'm going to go for the Hibs because I like what they're doing there. And we're talking about the Knights and the money they've put in there. And, of course, the manager they've got in David Gray. I think there's a really good feel-good factor around Easter Road. And I reckon with the midfield in the front line, they can score goals. The only problem I have with them is slightly at the back. Sometimes Rocky Bashiri is an accident waiting to happen, but he's been okay at the start of the season. And I think the Hibbies will finish in fourth. Now, fifth and sixth is really, really interesting because, quite simply, we've had a couple of clubs that I've watched and I've been in the ground and I've seen the way they've played. And I'm going to go in this position. I know everybody's looking and saying, when's he going to pick Aberdeen? Is he going to pick Aberdeen in this top six? Well, I'll tell you, what am I going to go in this here? I think I'm going to surprise everybody and I'm going to go with Dundee United to go in the fifth position because he's bought wisely. He's bought foreign players. He's taken a bit of criticism for it, but I like Jim Goodwin. I like him as a manager, and I like the way they play. Certainly United in the European football, they would have loved to have played group stage football. It wasn't to be. But I reckon he's got a nice system there and some really good players in there at Tannadice. So that's number 5. What about number 6? It's between Aberdeen and possibly St Mirren and Motherwell all battling it out. Well, here's my surprise package. I'm going to go for Motherwell to go in the top 6. And this has been the most outrageous I've ever been in predicting. I'm usually bog standard, super safe. But I love the way Motherwell are playing. I like Jens Bertel Askau and the way he's got them all set up. They're playing brave football. They've got a good midfield. Injuries might hamper them as we head through the winter months. But I love what Motherwell are doing. And then from there, I think I've got to pick Aberdeen. I've got to put them in there in 7th place. And that will be at the expense of their manager, who I think will not only be under pressure, but I think whether he's in place by the time we hit the January transfer window, I don't know. Jimmy Tillene under real pressure. He's brought in Nisbet and he's looking for goals, and I think they're going to have to score goals. But I think Aberdeen, I just don't see anything there at the moment at Pittodrie. But the new signings might help them along, but I'm going 7th at the moment. I might change my mind once we get to April or May. Okay, who's going then? And it's got to be St Mirren. I think he's just absolutely top drawer, Stephen Robinson. I was probably tempted to push them higher into the top 6 because I think they're a good side as well, with Mandron and Ayunga up front. And they've got Killian Phillips in the middle of the park. Absolutely great to watch, well organised under Stephen Robinson. I'll probably get 8th wrong for St Mirren. They'll probably prove me wrong over the course of the season. And so we have 4 that are going to occupy those bottom 4 positions and are going to be working so hard to try and get away from the relegation area. Okay, where are we going with it? Well, if I'm going to be honest with you, it's a toss of the coin between Kilmarnock and Livingston, and I'm going to go with Livingston to finish in 9th position because I like the look of his back 4. I like the fact he's got Macaulay Tate still on loan from Hearts, and he's got players that Lewis Smith is really embracing the start of this season. I think David Martindale is a shrewd coach, knows his stuff, and he knows how to stay in this division for long periods. Get caught out last season in the Championship, but then eventually just made that move to get back to the Premiership, and I like him as a manager. So, 3 left in this one. I'm going to go with Kelly. I think Stuart Kettlewell's got enough there. He can go with plan B, which is go to some of his tall strikers and win things from set pieces. Still get that terrible pitch down at Rugby Park, but nevertheless, I think he'll have enough just to escape, which leaves me with 2. And I have to say, I'm going to go with Dundee to get in there in 11th place. Stephen Presley will be allowed time to try and build the side. He's certainly got them well organised, trying not to lose games while he looks for a wee bit of flair in there to get him results. But I think by the skin of his teeth, he might just escape and get into a playoff, and then it's a battle against your Championship sides. And the last one just has to be Falkirk. They are a brilliant side to watch. John McGlynn is a shrewd manager. I loved watching them in the Championship. I loved the way they played football, but they just haven't been able to get enough strength and depth to battle in the Premiership. I still think they're a Championship side. Brian, I have to say, Brian Graham's getting on a bit. Scott Arfield's getting on too. And I wonder if they've got 90 minutes in them on a regular basis. I think they'll be used sparingly, but I don't think he's got enough. And I'm gutted to say that because Falkirk are a great footballing team, play the football the way I like it to be played. But I think they're going to be struggling at the bottom. So there you have it. 1 to 12, surprise team Motherwell, champions Celtic, relegated Falkirk. You might disagree.